Bungie's next big game almost died before it even had a chance. If you told me even just a few years ago that Bungie's next big game would have years of rough development and could barely escape its own development hell, I probably wouldn't believe you. And yet here we are, Marathon. A game that's been in the works for what feels like forever, that's weathered engine shifts, reported internal struggles, and production limbo, and whose closed alpha was greeted with relentless criticism from the very audience it was trying to capture. But that's not even the weirdest part. There was a moment where Marathon nearly got completely shut down because of a plagiarism controversy involving the assets that were stolen from a user on Twitter. Something that you would never expect from a studio with as much pedigree as Bungie. So maybe it really should be nobody's surprise that everybody online is billing this as the new Concord. And that's before really anybody even got the chance to play the game. There's this consensus online that Marathon is destined to be the next big multiplayer train wreck. The next big overhyped flop. Highguard 2, if you'd prefer. That's the meme. That's the narrative. That's what everybody's trying to push. But here's the thing. After spending time with Marathon and actually playing in the closed alpha and playing in the closed beta and playing in the now stress test, I gotta say, could Marathon actually be the game that kills Arc Raiders? This might be the game that people actually want. The game people have been yelling at Bungie to make for years. The game with style. The game with legacy. And not just another dead on arrival live service slop. I think one of the main things that hits you in the face when you open Marathon is that this game just oozes style. I mean, my God, just looking at this game, the art, the design, the characters, the world, the graphics, everything about it. There's such a cool art style here, and it really puts you into the world of Marathon. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about this game. Because yeah, sure, it's an extraction shooter. Extraction shooters are new exciting. It's the big new thing. Everybody's moved on from battle royales and everybody's big into extraction shooters. And this is an extraction shooter that stands out from others. And it's a game that tries to separate itself by making it more player versus player focused. The goal of this game is to, yeah, of course, the same thing with every other extraction shooter. You want to get in there, you want to get great loot, you want to extract, and you want to get the hell out. But it's also trying to force you to specifically go out there to PvP with the other players and kill everybody on the map before you extract. Now, you don't really necessarily have to do that, but a lot of their marketing and a lot of their messaging around the game is trying to push that message of this is not a PvE focused game, and this is not a game where you're supposed to go in there and be friendly with everybody in the server. You're supposed to go in there and kill everyone. And that's cool. It's a cool angle to take. And they make it a little bit more exciting by making the AI on the map actually be a lot more challenging and a lot more aggressive. Even like Arc Raiders, honestly. The Arc in Arc Raiders, they really are out to get you. But once you know how to handle them, they're pretty easy to handle. Whereas in this, they can kill you really, really fast. And it kind of forces you to get into these encounters, which then create chaos on the map, which then draws other players towards you, and it ends up being in a large-scale battle, and it's pretty freaking cool. The problem is that it doesn't happen enough. After putting a lot of hours into this game, I can very honestly say that I've only gotten to like a handful of fights with other players. The map just feels empty, to be honest. It feels like there's not enough people in the map. And the map also just feels very condensed. Like it doesn't have a wide open feel that Arc Raiders does. Arc Raiders kind of feels like every time you're out there, it feels like a massive open landscape where you have so many possibilities of seeing somebody in that direction, or, you know, anywhere you go, you could end up facing another team. Or not, I mean, it does happen. But this game, it doesn't really feel like that. Everything feels much more confined, even though it's not always because there are open areas, but it just feels like sometimes you're walking through an empty open area before going to another building and then encountering some AI and there's nobody around. I get that the point is to try to funnel you towards other players by having the objective so that multiple people in the same map are going after the same objective to try and encounter the same story point or, you know, complete their mission to get the loot that they want, and it'll force you to battle each other, and then, you know, the survivor wins, survivor leaves, survivor survives. It just didn't feel like it happened enough. And I think that's one thing that can potentially hold this game back. The other thing that can hold this game back is the UI. It's cluttered, It's a little bit confusing, and there's a whole lot going on, especially coming from Arc Raiders where things are very simplified. Arc Raiders has got to be the easiest extraction game to get into. It's very friendly to new players. It is very much letting you do what you want to do without kind of bogging you down with menus and all sorts of different things that you got to navigate. There is a bunch of stuff that you do have to navigate, of course, to craft and to accept missions, but Marathon kind of really slams you with a lot of things at once, and a lot of the stuff that you pick up looks very similar. There's a lot of reading, a lot more reading to go through in this game to actually get a grasp of it, and that's holding a lot of players back. A lot of what I'm seeing online are just people complaining that there's too many things to pick up. They don't know what's what. They don't know what to do in the main menu. They don't know what to do with the different factions and stuff. And you know what, people? Shut the hell up, man. You learn by playing. Play the game for more than an hour and you'll figure it out. What are you, a dum-dum? You can't understand how to play a game? Every game has different systems, different mechanics. This is a game that you'll find out those things by playing. It's not all going to be explained to you within the first 5 minutes. Just like how most games, it doesn't explain everything to you in the first 5 minutes. You didn't understand how to deal with every different type of arc in Arc Raiders within the first 10 minutes of playing. So why do you expect to know every single thing about this game as soon as you open it up? It's an unreasonable thing to expect. It's dumb. You're dumb if you expect that, by the way. Sorry to call you out on that, but you're dumb. If you expect that, you're dumb. This is a game that feels very, very layered. There feels like there's going to be a ton of progression, and it feels like it's going to be something that can have potentially a long life to it. Bungie is really, really good at making games that go on for a very, very long time. The Halo series, the Destiny series, they know what they're doing when it comes to live service. It's point proven. Destiny has a ton of fans. Yeah, sure, it's gone downhill, but for a while, Destiny was huge, and they knew how to make it good. There was ups and downs, of course, but overall, they knew how to make it really good. So I do have faith that Bungie will be able to pull it together and actually turn this into a long-lasting series, or a long-lasting game, a long-lasting experience, to be honest. I think Marathon can stand up there next to Arc Raiders as being two similar but different games that both appease similar but different audiences. One that's looking for a more casual experience and one that's looking for a slightly more hardcore experience. And I think that's what Marathon is going for. I think it's trying to do a slightly more hardcore extraction shooter experience. Sure, it's not as hardcore as Tarkov, nothing really is, but I think it's trying to be more hardcore than Arc Raiders, and it's trying to give you a little bit more depth by allowing you to have so much more customization to your character, so much more customization to your loadout, and so many more different possibilities of what can happen when you're actually in a mission and on the map. I think a lot of what we're seeing online of people just instantly hating this game aren't giving it the chance that it actually deserves. This isn't a high guard situation. This game is much more polished. There is much more going on with Marathon than there was with high guard. That's a damn fact, and you would know that if you played. A lot of the people that are complaining about the game are literally just complaining because they think that the UI is too busy. You'll figure it out, man. It's not that complicated. Same with the stuff that you pick up in the map. It's not that complicated, man. Even with the Steam charts, I've been seeing people already claiming that the game is on its way to its death because it didn't continue to rise after it's hit its peak, because it hit its peak pretty early in the day when the stress test went active, and I think people expected this to shoot up by the evening, and it didn't. It started to go down a little bit. So people are already claiming that it's already on its way to its death, and it's just not true, man. It's not true. There's a lot of potential here. Just let it be.